Hello, it's 6:07, so it's already evening, and I am going to do my blog for the second part of my Rizal jetsetter with a mission. I posted the first part last Saturday, the birthday of Rizal, 160th birthday of Rizal. So I'm going to do it now. Medyo na late ako, but nevertheless, naisingit ko rin ngayong araw na ito sa marami kong trabaho because a promise is a promise and I want to keep my promise to you. But before that, I would like to invite you to please subscribe to my channel and just me, Amalia, and share my blog to your friends so that they can also learn from the things that I discussed, I pointed out, or I blog in my channel. Thank you very much. So let me now just bring you back to what I discussed last Saturday in my blog by pointing out to the different places that Rizal visited during his first travel. And so let us, as a sort of a review, stated one by one. The first place that he had visited was Singapore, and from Singapore he went to Barcelona, Spain, and from Barcelona he went to Germany. In Germany, a place he loved also, he loved Germany very much, that he went back to Germany several times. In Germany, he went to Heidelberg. He stayed in Germany for 6 months. He particularly Heidelberg. It was in Heidelberg where he had the poem, I think, to the flowers of Heidelberg written. Heidelberg 6 months, and then he went to Wilhelmsfeld, where he stayed with the family of Pastor Olmer, who became very good friend of Rizal. Not only Pastor Olmer, but also his family. And then from there, he went to still no in Germany. He stayed in Berlin for another 6 months, and then went to Czechoslovakia, and there went to Leibnitz, and visited his friend in letters, because they used to exchange communications through letters, but they had not seen each other personally. Ferdinand Blumentritt. And so from there, he went to another beautiful place, country that was that's Prague. And from Prague again, he went back to Germany. He went to Bonn, another place in Germany. And from Bonn, he went to Vienna, Austria, another fascinating place. And from there back to Germany, he stayed in Munich, Germany, and he's still in Germany, Nuremberg. Nuremberg is a city in the state of Bavaria, the second largest city in that particular state. And then from Nuremberg, he went to the city of Ulm. This is another city in Germany, which is situated in the Danube River, no, along the Danube River. And from the city of Ulm, he went to Switzerland, and from Switzerland to Italy, and then he went back to the Philippines. Now I would be talking to you about the second departure of Rizal from the Philippines. And again, we if you do not know yet, no, but I know many of you know already. Rizal decided to leave the country for the second time, not because he wanted to leave the country, but because he was forced to leave the country because his parents, his family, his friends were being subjected to harassment already by the priors, most specifically the priors, not so much with with the government of Terrero, but with the priors. They really hated Rizal very much. And Terrero also advised Rizal to leave the country for his own safety. And so Rizal with a heavy heart, decided to leave the Philippines, and then he boarded the ship, and the ship brought him to uh, the first place that Rizal went to when he departed for the Philippines, from the Philippines rather, for the second time was Hong Kong. Now in Hong Kong, he stayed for a while there and met with Filipinos who were exiled in Marianas in Guam, and particularly uh, Jose Maria Basa, who was a Filipino lawyer who made good in Hong Kong and became a very successful businessman. From Hong Kong, Rizal went to Yokohama, Japan, and there were things that Rizal noticed among the Japanese. First, the Japanese were very industrious and they were very courteous, and the Japanese women, they were simply dressed, no, and but however, another was that Rizal noticed that there were very few bad men in Japan. However, Rizal did not like the use of the rickshaw in as a form, as a means of transportation, because he felt that, as I do feel now also, that it was too dehumanizing, no, it was not human, it was very inhuman, because it was, the rickshaw is driven by one or more men, and kumbaga yung sa kalesa parang sila yung kabayo, as if they were the horses, if you are going to compare it to the kalesa of the Filipinos, and there is a seat at the back where the passengers would be seated. So Rizal did not like that. Except for that, Rizal loved Japan, and one of the things also that made Rizal love Japan was because of a beautiful woman named Osei-san. Osei-san and Rizal had intimate relationship, and Rizal almost surrendered his being a bachelor. He was 27 years old at that time, and he almost gave up his being a single man because he felt so deeply in love also with Osei-san. However, his love for his country was stronger than his love for Osei-san and for any other woman. For that matter, country was first in the heart and in the mind of Dr. Jose Rizal. And so he left Japan, and in his diary he wrote, as he was bidding Osei-san goodbye, he was thinking at the back of his mind, was entertaining this idea, which he put down in writing in his diary. There she is, the last love of my young life. You will be the last love of my young life. How romantic, really. And so Rizal preferred his love for the country than his love for a woman. And so from Yokohama, from Japan, he went to America. And in America, Rizal noted or described America as a country par excellence for freedom, but good only for the whites. Why? Because he noticed the strong discrimination of the white people or the Americans against the Chinese and the black people. At the time, still being referred to as the Negros. Ngayon, you cannot do that because that is not acceptable. The term negro is no longer acceptable. From there, he went to England, Liverpool, England, and then to London, where he visited the British Museum. And then again, he went to the city that attracted him so much, which he referred to as a city par excellence also, and that was the city where the Eiffel Tower is, that is city of, of Paris in France, no? And it was here in Paris that he joined the Free Masonry, and also he organized the Indios Bravos. The Indios Bravos was an organization of Filipinos in Europe whose aim was to free the Malay race from the colonizers. And so from there, from Paris, France, Rizal went to Brussels, and Brussels in Belgium. And from the it was in Brussels, Belgium, where Rizal had this very strong feeling of nostalgia. There was that strong drive for him to return to the Philippines. He was so homesick. He was craving to be with his own people, to be with his family, and that craving was in his heart, in his mind. And he urged other Filipinos in Europe, please let us return home. The country needs us. If our homecoming would be our misfortunes, be so, but let us return to our country of birth, sabi ni Rizal. So on October 18, 1891, Rizal's urge to return to the Philippines, to leave Europe, was finally realized. He boarded the ship, and on his way to Hong Kong, while he was on board the ship, he met, I think, a British gentleman there on board the ship, and the British was by the name of William Pryor, and he was the first British, or the British who founded the first British settlement in Sandakan, North Borneo. And that gave Rizal some kind of idea of what to do with some Filipinos, no, who were being maltreated in the Philippines. Then from when he reached Hong Kong, he decided to stay in Hong Kong for a while, and there he decided to practice his profession as an eye doctor, and he made good there. He made good as an eye doctor. He had so many patients, and he was able to bring some of the members of his family in Hong Kong. He could have stayed there and live a good life and raise a family. But the urging to be with the Filipinos, to be with his people, was so strong that he decided that he really would like to leave the foreign, not to stay anymore in a foreign place or a foreign country, and really come back to his country of origin, to his country of birth. No matter how good his life there, no, still for him there was no other country better than being in his own country, and that's the Philippines. And so Rizal left Hong Kong, came back to the Philippines, but he decided to organize the La Liga Filipina. It was organized, but he was arrested by the Spaniards, and was exiled, deported to the Pitan. But in the Pitan, Rizal made useful of himself by transforming the Pitan from a very sleepy town to somewhat a town, an alive town, by doing so many things, and making the people realize that they could do something for themselves. So we know how Rizal transformed the Pitan, and that would be a story that would take another long blog, no? So I will not be concentrating on that anymore, but I would like to point out that the Pitan was really transformed because of Dr. Jose Rizal. And Hong Kong could have been Hong Kong was the last foreign country where Rizal stayed. It could have been Cuba because he offered himself as a medical doctor while there was a revolution going on in Cuba. But while he was on his way to Cuba, he was returned back to the Philippines and was imprisoned on a ship somewhere in Cavite. And then he was brought to Intramuros, Port Santiago, subjected to a trial which was really a mock trial because the decision was already on the minds of the people, of those who were subjecting him to trial. And true enough, the verdict was for him to die by the firing squad. And so on December 30, 1896, Rizal was executed sa Bagong Bayan, Luneta now. And so we lost a great man, a man who had awakened us, who have awakened every Filipino during the time, how valuable freedom is, and that freedom must have to be girded by us very, very strongly. Not for us to be subjected to another colonizer, another country to colonize us. Not for us to let other countries dictate on us. Not for us to bring every problem that we have before the world arena. Because we are a sovereign country, we have our own government, we have our justice, we have our Supreme Court, we have our justice of our court. Our courts are functioning well. So we have to decide on what our country, on our country's future. It should not be a decision by other countries or by any other international organization. So if we are going to do that, then we are surrendering our own sovereignty. And Rizal, up there, wherever he is now, Rizal would feel so unhappy, so sad, and might be asking himself, is this the reason why I had myself executed in 1896? Let us not let that particular sacrifice of a young man go in vain. Let us love our country. Let us embrace one another as Filipinos, and whatever differences we have, let us settle it among ourselves. That is my take on the matter. If you agree with me or not, well, you have your freedom also to think, but that is what I think, and that is my stand, because I believe Rizal fought for us not to be encroached on again by other countries, especially the superpowers. So with that, thank you very much for listening, or for viewing rather my blog, and please share it with others. Thank you so much, and it's already evening. Good evening, and have a pleasant tomorrow. Bye bye.